WACSI, through the Civic Space Resource Hub, is trying to bridge the capacity gaps for civil society organizations that are constantly pushing back threats, to civic space. So if you permit me to share my screen, just so we have better grasp of some of the information I would share on WACSI. So the West Africa Civil Society Institute, WACSI, was established about 20 years ago. It's actually a thing of joy for me to also say at this point that WACSI will be celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. And I am excited because every one of you who will be in the cohort 3 of this program would have to celebrate with us. So WACSI was established in 2005, and the main reason for our establishment is to strengthen civil society organizations in West Africa. By that, we mean strengthening the institutional capacity of civil society and the civil society ecosystem generally, providing bespoke training programs and technical support to civil society organizations, including the NGOs, the community-based organizations, the youth networks, women's organizations, social movement, and other, individual foundations to provide them with support, technical support, and capacity support on how to strengthen their organizations and be more robust in delivering their various mandates. As an organization, we have 3 main intervention strategy that we walk through. The first is in the area of capacity development. Here, we design different training programs, coaching, and technical support, mentoring programs to civil society organizations. And the second area of approach that we work in is around knowledge management. Here, we try to create knowledge to support the work that civil society is doing across West Africa. And we also create opportunity for civil society actors to document their experiences on the work that they do. By experiences, we mean their achievements, their challenges, and also in that process, we generate data that civil society can use to support their work. The third area of intervention for us is around policy influencing and advocacy. And in this area, we are looking at how civil society can effectively influence policies that guides, the work that they do. So we're looking at cross-cutting policy. We're looking at cross-cutting policies around civil society resourcing, for example, around civic space. We're looking at reimagining the role of civil society. We're also looking at, different how civil society can contribute to policy development, policy making, and also engage with different levels of policy making processes. This is our 4th strategy. It's important for me to state, and that's why we are in our 20 years of existence now. In terms of vision, we envision a West Africa that is peaceful, that is prosperous, and where development is led by its people. And this is to really hinge on the contributions of civil society to regional development, how civil society contributes to that through the work that we do and the support that we provide for them. In terms of our vision, we believe that the support, the capacity building support, the knowledge management support, and the policy influencing support that we provide to civil society will strengthen them, will strengthen the sector to be responsive, to be collaborative between and among themselves, to be representative and resilient, and through knowledge sharing, learning, connecting and influencing that already I spoke about a few minutes ago. So in terms of our programs, the 3 program areas that I talked about, they really aim to address institutional and operational challenges that are quite inherent in the third sector, in the civil society ecosystem. And also, our program seeks to strengthen the capacity of civil society actors and their institutions to influence policy-making processes, to analyze policies, and of course, to conduct effective and successful advocacy. We, like I mentioned, we generate from time to time different indigenous knowledge products and information that supports the work that civil society does across the region. We also have a very strong convening platform, which we have used, over the last 20 years to convene different actors from civil society to development partners, to African Union, to ECOWAS, to United Nations on diverse issues. We have invited different, actors from both supply and demand side to talk about, some difficult conversations, and in that process, this convening platform has produced advocacy tools, communiques that civil society actors have used, to engage policymakers in the process. So I think basically this is a bit about what we do as an organization. But I'll move very quickly to the event of the day, the Civic Space Resource Hub, the third year of the program, what it is about. But before I invite my colleague who is going to give us more details about this program, and for you to have a bit of understanding of what you seek to get by being part of these processes for the next 12 months, I would like to, give a bit of background to our current civic space in West Africa. By West Africa, for us in WACSI, we are looking at 18 countries. These are 15 ECOWAS member states. Yes, I know what you're thinking, and I'm going to come to that in a few minutes. And 3 countries that are currently politically in Central Africa. That is Chad, Mauritania, and Cameroon. WACSI also work within these three countries. So civic space, when we talk about civic space, as we all know, this is the space through which we as citizens, as civil society operate. It's the space that gives us the freedom to engage, the freedom to raise our concerns, the freedom to speak, the freedom to hold our leaders accountable. And over the last couple of years, I would say that space has been under severe threats. And by severe threats, I mean we are constantly seeing restrictions on this space that we have operated over the years. We are seeing a lot of increased government's penchant to control that space, either through introductions of obnoxious rules and regulations and laws. And I am very familiar with what is going on across the region. And in Nigeria, for example, I mean, a couple of months ago, we're talking about the potential overregulation of the civic space in Nigeria, and it's quite similar to what it's attainable, in other countries of the region. In addition to that, we're also seeing crackdown on protesters. And I think all the countries in West Africa have, had a fair share of this crackdown. Either you're talking about the EndSARS, or you're talking about the Fix the Country in Ghana, or you're talking about the youths in Senegal, or you're talking about how youth and different social justice actors and activists have responded to the growing authoritarianism, in Mali, Niger, Guinea, and Burkina Faso, and all over. We are seeing a very heavy military response from our government to citizens making demand on, their own governance, their affairs. We are seeing a lot of that. In addition to that, we're also seeing how government, our leaders, are using elections. In fact, I do tell colleagues that election in West Africa has become synonymous with violence. We see our electoral processes are characterized with different degrees of violence, manipulations, and when citizens stand to respond, they are met with very high, military response through the directive of our various government. In addition to that, in West Africa specifically, we are seeing a new wave of retrogression, democratic retrogression. I'll put it that way. And this is very clear. You remember earlier when I was talking about the countries that WACC works in, I said the 15 ECOWAS member states. So I am still yet, I'm yet to come to terms that ECOWAS now officially has 12 members with the exit of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, which took effect yesterday. You see, this is a major challenge. Civil society working within these countries do not have not only the space, the freedom to even speak, because these three countries currently have restricted and even, if you like, closed civic space where citizens and civil society, their representative, cannot speak, cannot question their leaders, because military kind of government does not create, that's the room, the opportunity for you to question, like we do have under democratic settings. And these are the observations, the themes, the emerging issues across our countries. In addition to that, we are seeing a lot of media repression across West Africa. Gone were the days where our media enjoys media independence, whereby you can report, on what you are saying, on what you have observed, without being targeted, without being arrested or arbitrarily, jailed. But we are seeing a lot of that now. For me, this is a way through which diverse government are trying to shut our voices, down. Whilst the physical space in which we gather and discourse and engage and protest is under constant threat, we try to move online, the digital space. And I'm happy to share with you that isn't safe either. We are seeing a lot of, increased cyber attacks. We are seeing threats to civil society operations, even in the digital space. And in addition to that, we are seeing a lot of surveillances from government, whereby they have access to information that you haven't even, given for access. And we are seeing a lot of digital security challenges as well. We are seeing youth uprising, youth disillusionment across our countries. And these are the very little I could say in what our current civic space in West Africa, what it looks like. So the question is, how do we navigate through all these threats and challenges and emerging issues? How do we as civil society keep that space that we have? How do we keep it engaging? How do we navigate through the challenges? How do we build our resilience as civil society organizations? How do we continue to connect? How do we continue to network? How do we continue to make our voices heard? How do we continue to stand for the weak among us, for the marginalized? How do we ensure the youth have the space to make their demands, to contribute to their own governance amidst all these challenges that are stated earlier? And these are some of the issues that the Civic Space Resource Hub tend to attend to. And that's why I'm so excited, because we went through the huge number of applications that we received, and it's always been like that since year 1 to year 2 to year 3. And it's quite impossible for us to accept everyone onto the program. But for this year, we went through the applications, all your applications, and it was a difficult task to long list. It was a difficult task to shortlist, because all the organizations that applied are doing amazing work in terms of ensuring that in terms of pushing back all these threats, and challenges that I mentioned earlier. And we recognize the work that you are doing. We see how much that you have done, and we can also imagine on how much you would do through the support that you would receive within this program over the next 12 months. And that's why I'm so excited that you all made it to this program for this year. It's really, it's a pain that we cannot bring on board more than the numbers that we currently have, which I will be sharing much later. At this point, before I invite John to tell us more about what we should expect from this program. I mean, first of all, what the program seeks to achieve, the objective of the program, the goal and objective of the CSR-Hub, the context that necessitated the creation, the establishment of CSR-Hub, and the pillars that CSR-Hub has identified and is providing support to civil society for, and also what we expect from you as the Cohort 3 members of the CSR-Hub project. Also permit me to say that the project holistically is being managed by the West Africa Civil Society Institute, WACSI, and then Spaces for Change, Nigeria. So at some point, I'll come back to also give the floor to my colleagues because, of course, WACSI cannot do this alone. We are working with a team of colleagues who are versatile and have rich experience in the four main areas that the projects respond to. I will invite them at some point to introduce themselves because you're going to be seeing them a lot more, and their contribution, the focus of the pillars they handle, and what they expect from you. So at this point, I thought it was important to give context to, why Civic Space Resource Hub and what we are seeing. Despite the 2 years of this program's investment, yes, we've been able to address some of the issues. We are seeing the great impact organizations that have been part of this program in the last 2 years are making in their respective countries, and we believe you would also contribute to those impacts. But at this point, if you permit me to invite John to speak, to tell us more about the project. So on behalf of my Executive Director, Nana Afajinu, Dr. Nana Afajinu, who is unable to join us for the conversation today, I welcome you all to this launch and inception meeting of the Civic Space Resource Hub for Civil Society Organization, Cohort 3. Permit me also to state that the project is being supported by the Ford Foundation. So at this point, John, I think you can tell us more about the goal, objectives, the strategic pillars, and what we expect from our cohort members. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Omolara, and good morning to colleagues from around West Africa. It's been such a pleasure having to work with all colleagues here through a number of months to get to the point where we can have make decisions on who would be part of the Civic Space Resource Hub. So congratulations to all colleagues who have made it here. So just to give a brief background, I know that Omolara has already mentioned a few, but just to say that the Civic Space Resource Hub, can you confirm you can see my slides? Okay, great. So the Civic Space Resource Hub is a 5-year project, like Omolara had already mentioned, funded by Ford Foundation and implemented by two key implementers, WACSI and Spaces for Change in Nigeria. Of course, the focus countries are the Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, and that's why all the cohort 3 members and the previous cohorts have come from these countries. But of course, the project also has some cross-boundary transnational aspects that we can talk about that later, including research, but also mobilizing civil society organizations for contextual issues. So that's that. But the focus itself is on three countries. In terms of mission, Lara already gave a brief about the context, how our context is difficult, our civil society is challenged. So, of course, this particular project is intended to ensure that we have an established, robust, resilient, well-resourced civil society empowered to respond to the contextual issues of civic space, restrictions, environmental issues, and also promote open societies across the region. On objectives, of course, that is related to the contextual issues that Omolara had already mentioned. It's to make sure that we are able to provide civil society organizations across the three countries some technical capacity around their ability to withstand or respond to civic space challenges across the region. The other is also to build their resilience. We've come to understand that civil society organizations are threatened every now and then, and most of them are weakened. How do we build our organizational resilience to withstand some of these threats? So that's one of the objectives. The third objective, and not the least, is to promote an enabling environment. We believe that if we support civil society organizations around these issues of responding to civic space, they'll be able to build or strengthen the democratic environment and also open spaces across the West Africa region. In terms of strategic pillars, I mean, in terms of the program itself, the program is organized around four key pillars. One is civic space protection and regulatory compliance. The second is organizational governance and leadership. The third is digital security and protection. And the last but not the least is resource mobilization and financial resilience. Just to give a bit of detail on these. So for the first pillar, which is the civic space protection and compliance, regulatory compliance, the objective is to strengthen civil society organizations to be able to identify, to appraise, monitor, and respond to the different dimensions of civic space threats. They can be digital, they can be physical, or emerging issues around civic space. So this particular pillar is very fluid, and so it responds to every emerging dynamic around civic space threats. The second objective is to strengthen the competencies of civil society organizations to be able to influence policies, because policies have a huge impact on the environmental, the civic space environment, and also the potential of enabling, promoting an enabling environment. The third is to strengthen the institutional resilience and operational efficiency of civil society organizations, particularly around the regulatory compliance issue. One of the areas that governments, or let's say unscrupulous governments, use to constrain the rights of civil society organizations is to follow them around their regulatory issues or the regulatory compliance to the states. So this is an area that is very important, and organizations will have the opportunity to get their skills built around that. Organizational governance and leadership. You can't talk about the resilience of organizations in this particular context without really looking at how organizations are able to strengthen themselves internally and their leadership to be able to withstand civic space threats across the region. So this particular pillar would be looking at strengthening the capacity to improve organizational governance. You'll be looking at board governance, looking at organizational leadership, looking at accountability frameworks and oversight frameworks and all that. But also getting the tools to build your own resilience in this rapidly changing environment that's been clearly outlined. And then we have the third pillar, which is the digital security protection. That looks at strengthening the capacity of organizations to identify, appraise digital threats, including surveillance, shutdowns, cyber attacks, and all that. But also to be able to develop tools internally to strengthen their internal digital security policies to withstand threats to their digital health. And then the last but not the least is to build and improve the sustainable resource mobilization portfolios of organizations. This is very important because what is the use of an organization that doesn't have the resources to be able to withstand the threats to civic space? So instead of giving you the meat itself, it teaches you how to hunt for the meat yourselves. So you have the capacity to really mobilize your own resources and then diversify your funding portfolio. And that should lead to improving your financial resilience to be able to deliver on your mandates. Now, I've already talked about the four strategic pillars. Now, how do we approach this? The implementation of these pillars. We have three key approaches. One is a tailored training. So tailored training in the sense that every organization that has been selected would be reaching out to the organizations, understanding their specific needs. Even though we know the broad general issue areas or needs areas, we'll still be reaching out to understand what would be the particular things that you'd want to learn, or what would be the particular areas that you need support in around the specific or particular pillars. And then we already have toolkits that have been developed, but of course, these toolkits are also tailored to your needs and updated periodically to ensure that whatever we train you on is relevant. The second would be post-training technical support. We are not just leaving you after the training, we are also following up to ensure that your organizations are learning, your organizations are applying the learning over the months, or learnings that have been acquired over the months. And then the third would be learning exchanges and experience sharing and advocacy. All these trainings also has some kind of indirect impact in the sense that it brings all of you into a cohort, and the cohort is every now and then mobilized to respond to changes in our context, civic space issues in our context, and all that. So, for instance, if you followed the cohort of the last cohort, the cohort 2, and then events of last year, you understand that, or you'd see that most of the cohort members were mobilized, or cohort members actually mobilized themselves to discuss pertinent issues in Senegal, in Togo, and some regional aspects as well. There's also an opportunity there to also convene with under the leadership of WACC and Spaces for Change on our regional West Africa civil society week. So that's that on the approaches. We would be hearing more from our civil society hub, civic space resource hub facilitators, and I'm sure they will have the opportunity to introduce themselves very well and talk about their work in this particular project. But just to say that WACC recognizes that we are not, they say in Africa that wisdom or knowledge is like a baobab tree. Not one person or one organization can have that. So we have some technical experts here who support us in the trainings. They run the trainings actually with our support, and they are the Nigerian network of NGOs that is responsible for the civic space protection and regulatory compliance trainings and technical support around that. We have Busara Africa that is responsible for organizational governance and leadership. And then we have Paradigm Initiative and Pen Plus Bytes. Paradigm Initiative is in Nigeria, Pen Plus Bytes is in Ghana, that handles digital security protection. And then we have Resource Mobilization and Financial Resilience, handled by Placements Ghana, that handles placement trainings in Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal. Yes, so these are the hub facilitators. The next session would be dedicated to them. They would have more to share with you. So the implementation phase, or let's say the timelines for the implementation of the Cohort 3 program. So we did the shortlisting and decisions for Cohort 3. Sorry, it's Cohort 3, not Cohort 2, from November 2024 to January, where decisions were made. The inception meeting, of course, is today. So we have it in January. And then we have a year-long calendar that we would be sharing with everyone. And then we follow that calendar in terms of training, in terms of coaching, in terms of any other follow-ups that might be required. That will be shared pretty soon with all cohort members. And then we have the training deliveries, which we believe would be between March and July. So for March, between March and July is going to be busy for cohort members, but also for the hub facilitators at WACC. So the question might be asked, what else is in there for me? I mean, for your organizations. We believe that after all this training, you'd have innovative ways to respond to the increasing shrinking civic space in our context in West Africa. You'll be able to collaborate and really connect with other civil society organizations to respond effectively to civic space restrictions across the region. But also, you are joining a cohort in a space that is quite strategic, and you'll be able to leverage that strategic niche to influence policy in your respective countries, but also across the regional platform. And the last but not the least is that once a cohort, you are a member of the family forever. So you'll be able to connect with the hub and other previous hub cohort members to mobilize and influence policy decisions and leadership around civic space restriction in West Africa. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Our communications team, they have a small presentation to make in terms of how they intend to communicate around this project. But for now, thank you so much for the time, and congratulations once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. That's a lot of information to consume, but I'm sure since we're going to be together for the next 12 months, we have adequate time to consume them at our own pace. So, Fifi, I guess you're ready? All right, please take it away.
Thank you, Lara. So, if you permit me, I would like to share my screen so I can walk all of us through how the communication for this cohort will look like. Okay, just a minute. Thank you. Please, can you all see my screen? If you can confirm that for me. Okay, perfect. So throughout the entire year for this cohort, for every activity and for every training session that's going to happen, we will be communicating on it. And this is very important because it's also our way of documenting the training and also trying to capture some stories from participants and success stories as well. And every communication product that will be produced out of this process, we have some channels for specifically for the CSR-Hub that I'm going to share. And I believe that after this, we'll all go ahead and follow and also pay attention to these platforms as we continue the program. So the first platform I'll talk about, we'll be sharing most of our content on, will be Facebook. And The reason why I'll be showing you the screens for our Facebook pages is because there are other CSR-Hub. So to be sure you're on the right page, when you search CSR-Hub for West Africa on Facebook, this is what you're supposed to see. Please, when you arrive on this page, kindly follow and like the page. And every picture that will be taken of participants will be shared here to also give everybody access as well. We also find us on LinkedIn. As we move along, we'll request participants to share their social media handles as well, so we can be tagging them, then they can have access and reshare these photos or videos that we'll be sharing from time to time. So if you visit us on LinkedIn, it's also Civic Space Resource Hub for West Africa, and this is how the page looks like. So you're sure you're following the right page. We are also on Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter. And on Twitter, you can also search for us, Civic Space Resource Hub for West Africa. And you can go there and follow and also pay attention to the page, as we'll also be sharing from time to time some opportunities and updates as well. And on YouTube, so you realize that during the training, we'll be doing some interviews and short documentaries. This is where we'll be publishing them. So for organizations who would want to also reshare and get access to these videos, they can follow us on YouTube on CSR-Hub for West Africa. Either they can reshare or they can share the link of the videos there. And every video that will come out of this year's cohort will be published here. So please note this. For every other information, articles, call for applications, kindly visit www.csrhubwestafrica.org for every other information that we would want to share with participants. And I would advise that you regularly visit this website, because we have the resources there that will also help you in also building your organization and strengthening your capacity as well. Thank you. But before I end, I would ask that we are going to share a link which will give you access to a consent form. And with this consent form, we will seek your permission to use your videos or images of you in videos or in the form of a picture for promotional purposes throughout the cohort, and also in the future for reports as well. Please make sure that you give your consent, so when we get the feedback, we know who to take pictures of, because we are also trying to protect your rights as well. And we'll be happy to get that feedback from you. Also, we'll further share some links or some forms for you to fill in with your social media handles for your organization first and foremost, and also the person who will be participating in each trainings handle. So when we post these pictures, we can tag you appropriately, and you can also reshare as a way of also boosting your presence online and also giving you more legitimacy to being part of this program. And I'll leave this here. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Fifi. Thank you so much. I think this is quite clear. So I would, if I may implore colleagues to just search for this social media pages right now and just like. It's also an opportunity for you to get latest information, you know, where next the training is going, which training is next, with which in which country. And most importantly, that is where all your pictures are going to be. So you want to pick pictures for your own article writing or whatever in your organizations. You need to go to those pages to pick some nice pictures that our accounts would normally upload there. So thank you so much, Fifi. I think this is so helpful. I'm not sure if we have, is it an Instagram page? Maybe we don't, but I know it's a very popular one. Everybody's always there, but I mean, it's fine. Thank you so much. So please, colleagues, I see a lot of names. I'm so excited. We're about 95 on this call. If I minus the interpreters, would probably be like 92. I can see some names in the charts. Please, if you are just joining us or you are yet to register your presence on this call, kindly do so now. your name, your organization, and the country that you are joining from. Let's acknowledge you. We'll invite Combs later to have a group picture where we're going to put on our camera. Everybody can see everybody, and then we'll have a nice picture. And I think Combs, at some point, will need to receive the organization's logo. Yeah. So please, if you haven't done that already, kindly send your high quality logo. There's what is called in digital form, digital logo. Please kindly send it to CSR-Hub West Africa at waxy.org, because we're going to have a compilation of the logo and, do it nicely and publish at some point as members of Cohort 3. Okay, at this point, I would like to invite colleagues who have been on this journey with us since 2022. They are the brain, the technical experts, the driver, a specific driver of each of the pillars for the program. You will be interacting with them a lot. They conduct the trainings, the coaching, the mentoring. You would have opportunity to meet every one of them independently at some point and collectively at some point. And I'm sure I look forward to your feedback after engaging with this exceptional experts in their various fields. They are well accomplished, and this is what they do on a daily basis, and they've done it for years. So in no particular order, I would like to invite Jerry of Pen Plus Bytes Ghana. If you're in the room, I think you can introduce yourself, the pillar you handle for CSR-Hub, and just a bit of what your organization does and what you contribute to this program. Jerry, please, are you in the room? Anybody from Pens Plus Bytes?
Hello, Molara.
Yes, hello.
Good morning. This is Precious.
Oh, Precious, good.
Okay, so Jerry is unable to join us, but he will join us in the latter part of the event. Hello, everyone. My name is Precious. I work with Pen Plus Bytes, and we are the technical partners for Pillar 3 under the CSR-Hub. We handle the pillar that deals with digital security and protection. Like Omolara rightly said, we have been on this journey since 2022, and we are looking forward to this cohort being one of our best, and if not the best, because we have seen the class of people who have gathered here by your names that you've put in the chat. And basically, our work has spanned around providing technical support and training. So first off, we train, and then we provide the technical support afterwards. We also hold organizations' hands to develop their digital security policies, which is one of the key outputs that we look out for whenever we have a cohorts coming together. And we're excited about what is coming up, and we hope to see all of you in the coming days. Thank you very much, Omolara.
Thank you, Precious. Just that we cannot see your face. Is that possible? If not, it's okay.
Okay, let me show off. Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Oh, you have an accompanying.
Yes.
That's nice. So this cohort is quite lucky. You have two. All right. Thank you so much, Precious. Thank you.
Thank you, Lara.
Yeah. Also, we have in the room Mr. Kofi Awiti of Placements Ghana. Kofi, if you are there, please, it's your turn. Kofi, you have the floor.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My voice is broken, and so is my face as a result of my voice. So unfortunately, you will not be able to see my face. I would hope to see you in person during the various workshops. But Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thanks to you all who have connected. Placements Ghana has been working over the last several years, building capacity of young people across various subject areas, especially in the area of resource mobilization and financial resilience. And we have been opportuned to be in partnership with WAXI Ghana to build the capacity of the various organizations who have enrolled to be part of the CSR-Hub. We have been lucky to have been part of all of the first two and still content to be part of the third. And we are looking forward to meeting with you all, to exchanging ideas, and hopefully contributing to your doing your own financial resilience and raising your financial capacities to the highest levels possible. We are lucky to have a very strong team scattered across the country and outside the country who we are able to mobilize at all times. And again, luckily enough, we have a base that is both Francophone and Anglophone, and so we speak to participants in the language that they speak and hear best. We hope that, as an earlier meeting suggested, the CSR-Hub program would extend beyond Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal, so that other countries who have seen it and are dying to be a part of it would eventually benefit. On that note, we are still happy to be a part of this, and we wish you all the best and look forward to seeing you sometime. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kofi, and thank you for being quite modest in what you have done and your organization you have done with your organization for civil society actors and organizations within the ecosystem. Thank you so much. So Busara Africa, Robert, if you are in the room, it's time. Robert, are you in the room? I think.
Yes, I'm here.
Fantastic. Robert, please, over to you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. And we're excited to have you as part of this cohort. It's always exciting to work with this group. And at Busara Africa, you are on our calendar. And we are always looking forward to the opportunity of meeting you and having this opportunity to have a discussion with you. So Busara Africa is a global leadership organization. And what we do is we support organizations to strengthen leadership, strengthen organizational competencies to meet the organizational goals and objectives. So we work with you and ask you, hey, what do you want to do? And how can we support your leadership, your governance to become the best to deliver on your mandate? And especially for this program around ensuring that you are able to work within the civic space, having a strong leadership that can address the challenges that the civic space presents. So that is what we are looking at on this program. We promise you an exciting time, a great learning opportunity, and a time that will help you to reflect on yourself as a person, as a leader, and your leadership in your organizations to become stronger. You know that if you have, as one of the greatest writers has said, bad leadership equals bad organizational systems. If we don't have good leaders who are able to thrive in the environment currently, looking at what is happening, just as you may be aware, the US stopped funding for a number of organizations. Now, leaders need to stand up. Leaders need to plan. Leaders need to prepare. And all these things are part of ensuring that leaders are ready to address the challenges that are presented every time within the civic space. So we are looking forward to meeting you and having a time with you. And I'm sure by the time we work with you, you will be up there in your leadership process and you will be able to address all the challenges to become innovative, to be able to address your staff properly, you're able to arrange a good system that will help you run your organization as expected. So thank you very much and looking forward to meeting you wherever we have the opportunity of meeting you. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Robert. And Robert lied not at all. I can assure you that the current shocks or wave of shock, I should say, that is going on around us and within the international system is quite challenging. I've been on a few platforms where the point that Robert just raised now around USA and its funding mechanism being paused for 90 days and we don't know what comes after and all of that. There have been a lot of shocks across different organizations, and some organizations don't even have a plan because the leaders never expected such to happen. And most importantly, I think one of the things I find fascinating about this particular pillar is how civil society leaders can lead through challenges that you don't have a choice. How can you maneuver through it? How can you rebuild your resilience over and over? How can you deal with shocks, and still exist after the shocks, without necessarily having to shut down your organization or having to let people go? What kind of innovation are out there that you need to tap into? Honestly, you need to have a one-on-one with Bizarre Africa. Thank you so much, Robert, for sharing those details with us. At this point, I'd like to invite Nigerian Network of NGO, who handles the regulatory compliance and civic space protection pillar itself, which is a critical pillar on this program. So, Oyebisi, if you're in the room, please, the time is now.
Yes, thank you so much, Omolara, and thanks to colleagues that have joined us this morning from different parts of the West African continent, as it were. My name is Oyebisi Babatunde Oluche, and I work with the Nigerian Network of NGOs. Just yesterday, I got to know that the Nigerian Network of NGOs is one of the most matured civil society networks in Africa and one of the oldest. So that's a bragging right at this time. But it's our pleasure to be able to support WAXI as technical partners on this journey, and especially looking at the civic space pillar and also the regulatory compliances. The experience we've had in the last 2 years has been that of colleagues in the sector, both in Ghana, Senegal, and Nigeria, working with us through a journey that we both created and that we both learned from, looking at how do we ensure that we can use compliances to push back on closing civic space, but also use compliance to build resilience, and also ensuring that we can, as organizations, stand the test of public trust and confidence in the work that we do. And picking that back to what Omolara just said around the USG government fund, the US government funding, being frozen. How do we now look to different sources of funding? How does regulation inspire public trust so that citizens can now begin to fund our work in ways that helps us to keep our doors open? So in the next couple of months, we will be working with you on that journey. It's always exciting working with civil society organizations across the 3 focal countries because you learn a lot. We work ourselves over again, to ensure that we can keep our doors open. But more importantly, the coaching and also the mentoring also ensures that we can handle you and also build that corporate governance that our sector now so badly needs. And on that note, I'll hand over back to Omolara. And thanks again for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oyebisi, and congratulations. That's a big one, a very big one. So we would allow you to brag for as long as you want, and we'll join you in the bragging. Thank you. But I mean, Oyebisi has raised salient points that I would like to reiterate, in the sense that one major concern that we are seeing on the increase now is how our governments are using compliances or non-compliances, civil society non-compliances, to further gag and restrict our operations. And in the past 2-3 years that we've been on this project, and previous years that we as an organization, WAXI as an organization, has worked on our civil society regulations, we have seen that even the best of us could be found wanting when it comes to compliance. And once that is identified and you are tagged as being on the other side of the law, every other thing you're doing doesn't matter. all your contributions suddenly flies out of the window. And the prayer is for us not to be the targets, because once we become government targets based on our social justice kind of work, and they beam the torchlight on us, we need to ensure that they do not find nothing on us. And that's why this pillar is, in fact, it's a compulsory pillar. I'm sure if you recall the registration process, pillar 1, which is civic space protection and regulatory compliance, is a compulsory pillar. Every one of us must be compliant, in ways that we push back restrictions and in ways that it eases our operations as civil society. Oyebisi, thank you so much for those words. We have our appetite to words already. We can't wait to be engaging with you one-on-one. And the last but not the least is Paradigm Initiative. Please pin if you're in the room. It's a time for you to also introduce yourself. So the pens plus byte and pin handles pillar 3 together, the digital security and protection pillar. So Paradigm Initiative, if you're in the room, please, can you take the floor now? Are you in the room? Okay. I think they were unable to join us, but thanks to Pen Plus Byte Precious for sharing, the details of that pillar and how they tackle the needs of civil society within it. So it's similar work that they are doing. But I'm glad that Pen Plus Byte was able to speak on that pillar. So at this point, I think I don't want to lose anyone, because this is an important part of the process. Ideally, we should go on a 5 minutes break, but I think we can continue. If you think we can continue and just, end the call earlier than suggested, please, may I see your thumbs up? At this point, you cannot put up any despotic behavior. Please, if you think we can continue, please. Can I see a few thumbs up, just so we invite some of our past colleagues? All right, thank you, Abdurrashid. Thank you. I see a couple of hands. Thank you. I see 8 hands now. Thumbs up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. So very quickly, if you permit me, I would like to invite a few of our colleagues who were part of Cohort 1 and Cohort 2 to just share with you what you should expect, their own experience, the highs and the lows, if they made any mistake during the opportunity they have to benefit from the project, what you should, the kind of mistake you should not make, how you should take your coaching sections, the training section, just general experience. John, do you have names you want to call?
Not specifically, just by country. So they know themselves already.
All
I think
right.
Senegal would come last, so we can have.
Okay, so can we have Nigeria colleagues? Nigeria colleagues, if you raise your hand, then I can pick you.
That's Joshua. That's Joshua.
Joshua, okay, please, Joshua, you have the floor.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Joshua Jato. I work for Novel Alliance for Development here in the Northeast Nigeria. My degree to be precise. Yeah, the journey with WACC in 2023 for Cohort 2, it was actually a mind-blowing experience where organizations like ours that are upcoming and also try to see how we strengthen the internal system in terms of regulatory compliance, in terms of networking, in terms of digital security. It was actually a state that supports in terms of capacity development of the national organization, especially my organization that participates, Novel Alliance for Development, NADA. At the onset, we have challenges in terms of regulatory compliance, meeting up with certain compliance issues. But at the first glance, thank you for the first pillar training we attended. It actually resolved most of the internal challenges we had at then. Now, it is one thing that we as NADA, we can boldly stand and to say that yes, when it comes to compliance, we are actually doing well in that regard. And also, it does not stop at that. We also have member organizations, national organizations that we've also supported in terms of capacity development to share the good and positive experience on terms of compliance, leadership as well, and in terms of digital security. So WACC has done a lot in terms of seeing that the civil space as well, especially with the situation around the Northeast, where we are able to, wherever we have opportunities to present ourselves, we speak one or two things about the civic space and also make referrals for people to tell them about what WACC is also doing. In case they might need any support, WACC will also willing and ever ready to provide support either remotely to see that most of the challenges and issues they face are being addressed. So that has been one of our advocacy messages to the national partners to see that capacity development and also advocating for the civic space is also done in line with the mandate of this. So for the colleagues that are joining in cohort 3, I must say that it is one thing that we are all privileged to be part of this cohort. So be dedicated, be attentive, and also be open to learn. It's one thing that at the end of this cohort, you will stand to testify that yes, what you've learned has actually improved significantly in terms of system strengthening and sustainability of the organization. So thank you, Omolara. Thank you, the WACC team, and thank you, colleagues. And this is a great opportunity. Never you let it fly without picking up something from WACC at the end of your cohort. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I struggled to hear you a bit, but I think I got the sense of what Joshua was saying. So he was sharing his experience and that of his organizations around organizational development and the support he received to strengthen the digital resilience of his organization, to protect his team, through their work and their digital presence. So he was just sharing generally the things, the benefits they got from being part of the process. My apologies that the voice wasn't so clear. So the interpreter said they struggled a bit to hear. Thank you again, Joshua, for sharing with us. Let me invite Raymond. Is it Raymond from Ghana? To share with us his own experience.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning from Accra, Ghana. My name is Raymond Mamata. I'm the founder and president of the E-Governance and Internet Governance Foundation for Africa. And I want to thank the WACC team for selecting us for the cohort 2. And we had the opportunity to participate in the legal and compliance training, the leadership and organization governance, digital and security, and the funding. I attended the funding team, and my other team members attended the other sections. So during the sessions, we were taking through a series of practicals on how finance is important for our team and what means that we can use to generate the funding. During the training, one of the questions that was asked, which really stood out for me, was, is your funding dependent on outside donors or internally generated funding? And we were given tidbits on how we could make use of our own staff and skills to have internally generated funding possible and ongoing. And it's through this training that I got to know some other funding opportunities within Ghana that I didn't know earlier on. One was Star Ghana, which most of the cohort members that I attended with have been making use of, which we did not know about at all. And from the report I've gotten from the legal and compliance, though we've been in existence for about 6 years, we've not really been compliant, but I hope nobody is going to report us for this. And we've put in place the various strategies to be compliant, one of which is to register for the MPOC, which we've not done for some time now because we really thought it wasn't necessary, but through the coaching section, we got to know that it was very important for us to do that. And with the digital and security training, EGICFA is an IT entity. We are IT and digital already, but we realized that there are certain things that we could do better. For instance, having policies to guard our digital assets, which we did not take good concern about. So from the coaching section, we got to know that this is something that we needed to do, and we have actually done that. And with the leadership and governance training, it also trained us much more on how to enhance our internal processes on how to bring everybody on board to buy into the aims and objectives of the entity, which has been very good. And I will encourage every participant to send multiples of participants. Please don't be greedy to attend all the sections. You deny your other team members of the needed skills and training that they need to get. So that's the advice I will give to everybody. And please take the training very seriously, and especially the coaching session, and you have a lot to learn. Enjoy the food and also enjoy the envelope that will be given at the end of the training. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Raymond. You are so funny. I'm sorry. I forgot I'm online. I shouldn't have laughed that way. But thank you. Thank you so much. You've really shared a lot of details. And I love the fact that you reiterated the need for the coaching session. And this is a major difference between the WAXI approach and the Spaces for Change approach. So Spaces for Change, as some of you may have been, familiar with, runs the training, make open calls. But we, as an organization, we look at the process through which every lesson, every knowledge, every capacity, every information acquired during this program be institutionalized, become organizational owned and not individually owned, right? And that's exactly what the coaching and the mentoring phase, that's what it does. It's not something you want to. In fact, the coaching and the mentoring is for you as an organization. The training phase is for us as cohort members. So if you think, I've attended the training, so I don't want the coaching and all of that, you will be getting just 10% of the benefit of the program, and you will not even get your certificate. I think it's important that organizational certificate, it's important that we state it here, because the coaching is where the real change happens based on your action plans, which you must have been guided through by the consultant. Thank you again, Raymond. We appreciate the details that you have shared and the advice specifically. So at this point, I want to invite my colleague from Senegal, Matthew from Article 19, to also share what their experience was and, nuggets for new cohort members. So at this point, for the English-speaking colleagues, I would advise that you choose your... Yeah, Mamadou.
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Is it Matthew? Matthew, or you are the one speaking?
Vous allez bien?
Ça va bien, merci. Ça va et vous?
Oui, ça va. Je vais parler en français.
So I will express myself in French.
Voilà. Mon
Oh,
nom, c'est Mamadou Mignane
I'm
Diouf.
Mamadou Niang Diouf.
Je suis du Sénégal,
I'm
un Africain
from
du
Senegal.
Sénégal,
I'm
à
an African
Dakar,
from Senegal. I'm in
et je
Dakar.
travaille dans les
And
ONG
I work
au
with
Sénégal depuis
NGOs
bientôt
in
30 ans,
Senegal.
dans
I've
le
been in
Conseil
this
des
space for the
ONG
last
d'appui au
30
développement.
years. So
Et je suis
we
aussi en même temps
support
le coordonnateur du
development,
forum,
and I'm the
du Social
coordinator of the
Forum au
forum,
Sénégal.
the
World
Social
Social
Forum
Forum.
in Senegal.
Je suis le directeur exécutif de
I'm the
l'ONG
executive director of
la
the
panafricaine
NGO,
pour
the Pan-African,
l'éducation au développement durable,
that works
à la
on
citoyenneté
sustainable
et
development,
à la coopération solidaire.
on citizenship, and
Je suis un
on
panafricaniste
cooperation. I'm
très
a
actif dans
Pan-Africanist.
le réseau
I'm
de
very
mouvements
active
panafricanistes et
on
cofondateur
Pan-Africanism,
du comité
and I'm also
d'initiative
co-founder
pour
of
le Congrès
comité
des
d'initiative
États africains unis.
pour le Congrès des
Je
États
suis
africains
très heureux
unis,
d'être avec
which
vous
is an
dans cette
organization
plateforme.
working on African unity.
Ça me permet de présenter un peu notre organisation qui
So
travaille
I'm happy to be here.
sur l'éducation civique et à la citoyenneté, au développement durable, l'environnement,
Our organization that work on civic education,
mais aussi et surtout
environment,
le monitoring des
climate
politiques
change,
publiques,
but also on the
le
monitoring
suivi
of
et
public
évaluation des
policies,
programmes de nos États dans les domaines de
and
l'agriculture,
also how to
et
monitor programs
de
on
l'eau,
agriculture
le droit à
and
l'eau,
other
la
things.
souveraineté alimentaire, etc. C'est donc
Yeah,
un
merci
plaisir
beaucoup,
pour moi.
Mama.
Right,
Merci,
water right,
Mamadou.
and
Yeah,
other points.
merci beaucoup. So Mamadou was just introducing himself. Please let me invite Matthew from Article 19 to share their experience at this point. Matthew, are you there? Matthew. Okay. So if Matthew is not in the room, I think at this point, we'd like to move on. I really want to appreciate the two colleagues from Nigeria and Ghana who already shared what their experiences have been on the program. We thought we could get from another person from Senegal, but not. So I think at this point, we would just go on to look at the overview of our plans. John already shared what the program will look like. We are going to be together for 1 whole year. That is from now till December. We're going to have the trainings, we're going to have the coaching, we're going to have the mentoring, we're going to have convenings, we're going to have series of meetings, series of webinars that will contribute to our learning journeys around civic space issues across West Africa, not only for the 3 focused countries. So when we get to the webinar points, which colleagues will share with you ahead of time, we would have other West African civil society actors, social justice actors, activists, and civic space protectors. We would have them join us on the webinar because it's going to be regional. And so that one will also come to play in the process. The coaching and the mentoring is as important as the training. And like one of the colleagues said, it gets to a point you will have to develop your action plans per different pillars, and the faculties will take you through that process. And the action plan is what we will be working with during the coaching and mentoring. So it is important that we take the training, the action planning, very important, because without that, the coaching will be an empty shell because we don't have anything to coach on. So all the different phases are important. I think Raymond mentioned a point, which it's funny, but it's very important. It is important that you diversify participants from your organization. You know the person in your organization that is responsible for your digital security, communication, technology, and all those bits, connected areas. Please ensure somebody who is relevant for a pillar is the one who attends the training. It's very important. And then the person can come back with the action plan, share that process, and then engage other team members to ensure they contribute to it. I think what I'm sure of now is that pillar 1 and 2 must be attended by the heads of the organization. And I'm sure colleagues will share the dates for each of this training with us in the coming week, maybe by next week thereabout, so that you have the calendar, what the calendar will look like, especially for the training, and then you can begin to block your calendars for those training. So the heads of organization, we mean the executive director, a board member, programs director, somebody with decision-making portfolio. We need to attend the leadership strategy, the leadership pillar, and the regulatory compliance pillar. The regulatory compliance pillar is a subset of leadership role. You as a leader will be held accountable to the compliance or non-compliance of your organizations to laws, to rules, to regulations. So it's important. I think I thought I should reiterate that. For the other 2 pillars, the financial resource, resilience building, digital security, you find somebody that is most suitable in your organization to represent you at those training. I think that way you would have diversified knowledge, diversified skills, and also cultivate the process of institutionalizing lessons learned and knowledge and skills acquired from the training for your organization. So if somebody comes for one training and the person exits your organization will not suffer, and that's what action plans also helps with, because the ownership is by the organization, not by the individual that may have attended the training on your behalf. Like I said earlier, our goal is to see our organization becoming robust to be able to navigate through these challenges to civic space at a time like this. So it's important that we have that at the back of our mind and act, right when the time comes. So I think in terms of next steps, we will be reaching out to you. I think I've already asked that you send your logos, because I know comms would like to launch your names, the names of your organization for everybody, and I do not to see those who will be benefiting from this program for this year. So please send high resolution logo to the email provided. And then secondly, we will be sharing with you what the training calendar looks like, so you can block your calendar. It's very important. And then it's also important that you send in the right person to attend what training, and then get everybody's buy-in for the ownership of the action plans, etc., etc. I think Matthew is in the room now. Matthew from Article 19. If you can quickly share your experience being on the program last year, and then we open the floor for comments, questions, and responses. If you are happy to write your comments, please do so in the chat box. I will read them, will respond to them. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand, and I will pick those hands immediately after Matthew's shared his experience. Matthew, you have the floor.
Merci beaucoup, Omorara.
Thank you very much, Omolara. Pleased to see you again, and all colleagues from WASI. Apologies for being late. I got the information of the session quite late, but I still wanted to pass through and to share my experience with you as a member of Cohort 2. So thank you. First of all, I think it's still in place to thank WAXI for everything you're doing when it comes to training, sensitization related to civic space. and regulatory issues. One important lesson I drew from my participation in the training on conformity and compliance in civic space is the fact that we have to be proactive regarding reforms that could restrict press our freedom, and we explored various international legislation on rights, and also the initiatives that have been taken by some states. And this was mainly centered on advocacy strategies as well, and how we have to respect international commitments. The training also enabled us to highlight practical mechanisms to document issues that are happening in the civic space. It was a very methodical approach, and we were able to produce reports. And personally, I would say that the training helped me to develop a more structured approach in analyzing issues and to propose realistic recommendations to issues. Also, it helped me to put in place tools to monitor violations within the civic space. And this has helped us to get some evidence-based data for activities. And so Article 19, based on the increasingly shrinking civil spaces through communiques and statements, we have been able to benefit from this training, and we have been able to put in place measures to respect standards. As CSO, we are mostly calling on the states to respect international commitments. And as we say in Wolof, before whoever calls for equity must come with clean hands. And therefore, we try as much as possible to make sure we put our house in order. And this has helped us to strengthen exchange activities and our engagements with our partners. We have been able to sensitize other civil society actors as well, and in turn share our experiences with them, and based on these challenges that we have overcome. So I think myself and my colleagues are very happy we took part in this training, and we are currently, together with our leadership, working towards compliance to national legislation and everything that we have to do to make sure we are in good standing with the state. So I would say that as a member of the second cohort, we have been able to consolidate our skills and also strengthen build capacity, rather, in achieving the missions of our organization, Article 19. And the training has also helped us to promote civic space and to protect ourselves better. So in a nutshell, this is what I have to say as experience that we have drawn. I'll seize this opportunity to once again thank Waxy for the quality of the training. I thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Matthew. Thank you so much. This is quite insightful. Thank you for sharing those experiences with us. And it's really great to note that this kind of changes, have happened in your organization by the virtue of participating in this program. Thank you so much. At this point, I would like to just acknowledge the organizations that will be in cohort 3. I'm reading the questions and I can see hands up. So for Nigeria for this year, we have 30 organizations. Last year we had 25. So we were able to make room for additional 5. We have the African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, Youth Empowerment Solution Project Initiative. We have the Uduma United Organization, Building Block for Peace Foundation, Anti-Sexual Violence Lead Support Initiative, African Center for Youth Development, Education and Advocacy Initiative. We have MediaCrossed.com, Pinned Foundation, African Network of Youth Policy Experts, Children and Young People Living for Peace. We have the Center for Democracy and Development. We have the Nigeria Women Trust Fund, the Anglican Compassion and Development Initiative. That is a faith-based organization, and I'm so glad they made it to the list. We have the Policy Innovation Center. We have Dorothy Njemaze Foundation, Enhancing Community Action for Peace and Better Health Initiative. We have the Center for Community Empowerment in Conflict and Peace Building. We have the Interfaith Mediation Center. That's another faith-based organization. That is how diverse these programs can go. We have the Transparency Information Technology Initiative. We have the Gabata Empowerment and Reconciliation Initiative. We have Bella Community. Please, can we mute our mics, please? Colleagues, can we mute mics? We have the Bella Community Development Initiative, Bella Code. We have Center for Peace and Development. We have Kasham Girls, Women, Youth and Community Development Initiative. We have Bridge Nigeria Initiative. We have the Akali Ahmad Center for Development, AACD. We have the Gender and Development Action, GADA. We have the Braveheart Initiative for Youth and Women. We have the Center for Legal Support and Inmate Rehabilitation. And finally, for Nigeria, we have the Gender Development Initiative, GENDI. You can see that the cohort from Nigeria is quite diverse. They are working on diverse issues. We have the faith-based institution. We have those focusing on social justice. We have the women's rights organization. We have those around technology. We have those working on media rights. And they are from Maiduguri, from Kaduna, from Kano, from Edo State, from Lagos, and there's one more state. That is how diverse we have been able. You can see we have a lot more from the north this time, and that is quite deliberate, looking at all the applications that came in. Some of them are also current grantee of the Ford Foundation. And for Ghana, we have 20 organizations from Ghana for this year. All of them are from the northern part of the country. We have the Global Media Foundation. We have Inspire to Act. We have Rene Ghana Foundation, Development Research and Advocacy Center, Heritage Charity Foundation, African Center for Active Citizens for Social Justice. We have the CSD Reform. We have CWED Ghana. We have Capacity Enhancement and Community Support, CAPEC. We have Women in Livelihood Development, WILD, Simba Ghana, Northern Patriot in Research and Advocacy. We have Tama Foundation Universal. We have Good Partnership for All Ghana. We have the Resource Foundation Ghana. We have the Center for Social Mobilization and Sustainable Development. We have the Sustainable Urban and Rural Empowerment Ghana, SURE Ghana. We have Girls Empowerment Mission. We have She 360 and Afford Foundation. All these organizations are from the 6 northern regions of Ghana. And finally, for Senegal, we have ONG 3D, we have InfoL, We have Action for Change Senegal, Association de Juristes Sénégalais, Union des étudiants de Jolof and Saint Louis. We have the ONG PAD, that is Pan-African pour l'éducation ou développement durable. We have Citoyens Souvenir Alimentaire et Coopération Solidaire. We have Club Science Politique. We have KIRA. We have Rousseau Sinji JN. We have Femmes Africaines Actives pour le Développement. We have Association de la Jeune du Weju Karaj. We have SSD. We have Comité de lutte contre la violence faite en femmes and enfants. We have WILDAF Senegal and Africtivist. Apologies, my friend, c'est pas bien, c'est très, très petit. So désolé, mon collègue from Senegal. So in all for this year, we have 65 organizations that we'll be working with. Is a tremendous increase, a significant increase from last year. And we're hoping to work with all of you all to ensure that we make contribution to your growth, your resilience building, and support you in your pushback against shrinking civic space in West Africa. So at this point, I will read some of the comments I have, some of the questions that I have on the screen. I think the first question is from, just a moment. The first question is from Abdurafiu, who says, how many reps from each selected organization for this training? So for each training that we hold, we expect one representative, and my colleague is going to share these details with you. So for Pillar 1, we expect one representative, Pillar 2, one representative, Pillar 3 and 4, one representative. What we would expect you to do is to nominate the most qualified person, somebody handling that related portfolio within your organization. This will enhance, this will help with quality contribution during the training, asking the right questions, and of course, following up on the actions from within your organization. I think that's one question I've seen. I can see two hands. I have Bako Abdul and Nelson Mandela. So I'm going to go with Bako. Bako, your question. If you have any questions, comment at this point as we round up the call, please put it in the chat box or raise your hand so I can give you the floor. Bako Abdul, you have the floor now. You have just 30 seconds. Questions, comment, contribution. Bako. Bako Abdul Fattah. Okay, let me go to Nelson Mandela. Nelson. Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, please, can I? All right, that's fine. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to first of all thank Waxy for this opportunity and also listening to the various insightful and hearing from them. And we also hope that by the end of the part 10, we also have some good and nice stuff to share and which can be more impactful based on organizations. Yeah, so like you said, I think my question I wanted to ask, I think you've touched already that you guys share the next steps with us. And also, the email that was shared with us, was that the email that was sent to us before this meeting? Was that the email we are supposed to send the logos to?
Okay, thank you so much, Nelson. Thank you. If you can just lower your hand. So with regards to the logo, yes, you can send it to the email, and my colleague will send you a short survey to collect names of your representative for pillar trainings and then for your logo. So you have two avenues to share your logo now. You can rather send it to the email or wait till you receive the survey and you respond to the survey. Salif
I'm reading now.
Bako, all right,
Yes, I was finding it difficult. I'm muting myself. So can I go on?
Yes, please, Bako.
Bonjour.
Hello. Hello, can I go on?
Yes, Bako, can you go on? Yes, please go on, Bako.
My greeting to everyone, and I think we are happy to be part of this program. The question I have is the concern the pillar 3, that is the digital pillar. You indicated of a package of tools, prepared tools for organizations. So even though the program has not started, but I would like to know the kind of tools that will be shared with us. Also, with regards to the training, though I know the participation is going to be on phase basis training. So will there be an opportunity for those who are not taking part on the one-on-one to have access to the online training? Also, I think that is it for now. The other question has skipped me. I'll get back on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Bako. Salif. Salif Ba.
Oui, bonjour.
Good day. Morning. I'd like to speak in French. My name is Salif Ba from Senegal, president of Association de Jeunesse. We are happy to be part of this cohort, hoping to get as much experience as possible and benefit from this wonderful initiative. I have 3 questions. First of all, on the in-person meeting, can you please explain to us how it's going to happen, even though the venue has not been decided? Also on the communications, currently we are on Zoom. Is it possible for us to have a discussion platform, maybe like a WhatsApp platform where we could communicate at all times? So these are the 2 questions I have for now. And moving on to the third one, it has to do with the 3 pillars. Can you a bit touch on that? Explain to us how we are going to go through the 3 pillars. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mohammed, I guess. No, Salif. Thank you so much. Yes, I've taken note of your questions. May I invite Mohammed Musa?
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for the opportunity. I want to first of all appreciate WAXI and the entire team for your resilience and hard work in strengthening CSOs, NGOs across West Africa. For me, I want to seek clarity in terms of the pillars. We shared 4 pillars. We're supposed to select 3 out of the 4. I don't know if that is right, or we still have to add another person for the 3rd pillar. Besides that, with regards to WhatsApp platform, we haven't heard anything about that. Will there be a WhatsApp platform for the Cohort 3 to facilitate communication? These are the clarity I just want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. Please lower your hand. Can we have Raphael?
Yeah, good morning to everyone. And I'd like to take this opportunity to appreciate what WASI is doing with civil society organizations across Africa, trying to build our capacity, put in place necessary measures to ensure that civil society play active role in the development process, and then also fighting for spaces for vulnerable people. My question is very simple. I want to know, under the pillars, so assuming that I have all staff under the pillars, can we exchange so that at a time, if somebody is under the resource mobilization and financial resilience, and somebody is also under governance or safe space and regulatory compliance, can you sometimes exchange for a person within the resource mobilization attend maybe safe space and regulatory compliance? That's my question.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I think finally, let me invite Hayatu Ashafa. That will be the last. We have a few minutes to round up. Hayatu, please, in 30 minutes, 30 seconds, sorry, not 30 minutes. Can you please speak, ask your question so that we can tackle everything once and for all? Hayatu, are you there? Hayatu.
Hello?
Hayatu, is that you?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. And thank you for a wonderful facilitation. I just want to ask, because some of the questions I actually jotted down has been asked already, but there is this particular one which has to do with the training. Is the training going to be collectively like Ghana, Nigeria, and Senegal coming together to do the training together? I'm talking about the physical training, or is it going to be individual per country? So that's the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start with the last speaker, and John and colleagues on the project, John, Vanessa, you can come in case you have more details than what I'm going to share. So yes, the last speaker, the training will be held in your country. The training will be held in your country. So the training for Senegal will be held in Senegal, Dakar. The training for Nigeria will be held in Nigeria. The training for Ghana. So all of us will not come together in the room, because that would mean having 65 participants, which will not yield any effect. It won't be effective for trainings delivery. So it will be per country, within the country, and the opportunities that we have to come together is what John spoke about earlier, which is the West Africa Civil Society Week, and it happens later at the later part of the year. Then we'll try to bring, as many people as possible together for the, Civil Society Week, which is way beyond the CSR-Hub project itself. But we try to mobilize as many people as possible from the CSR-Hub to join the Civil Society Week. So I hope that answered your questions. Another person asked if the training will be online. So the physical trainings, the actual trainings would be held physically in your country. And then the coaching and mentoring will be held online per your schedule. So WACSI, yourself, and the faculties, we work together on a schedule that works for everyone. And those will be online engagement on Zoom. The other person talked about digital tools. So I'm not sure I mentioned anything about digital tools. What I said is that for digital training, for example, you should send in a representative from your organization that understands that terrain. It's important. So it contributes to the richness of the conversation during the training and the kind of question that will be asked, because the person will be asking questions from a knowledge, point. So it's important that you send the right person for the right training. How would Cohort interact? So yes, the team will work with you to establish a WhatsApp group. I think one WhatsApp group for the entire cohort, and when information needs to go out in French and English, it will be sent to that WhatsApp group in French and English. This is important. So yes, the WhatsApp group will be established. So somebody asked question about 3 pillars. Yes. So during your registration process, you were advised to apply for your 3 most needed pillars. And pillar 1 being compulsory pillar. That is the civic space protection and regulatory compliance, which is pillar 1, is a compulsory pillar. And then out of the other 3 pillars that are left, that is the leadership and organizational governance pillar, which is pillar 2, the digital security and protection, which is pillar 3, the financial resource mobilization and financial resilience, which is pillar 4. You should choose 2 additional pillars that are of a great need to your organization. So, and I think we all did that. So the question is, who will represent who? So you have 3 pillars. You have three access to trainings based on the 3 pillars you've selected. For pillar 1, it is important that the heads of organization attend it. Similarly to pillar 2, because organizational leadership and governance is a responsibility of the leaders. By leaders, it could be the executive director, it could be your board members, those that are, in strategic position, those that have the power to take strategic decisions. So it's important because some of the actions that needs to happen will be or can only happen by people within this high position. But for pillar 2, if you are for pillar 3 and 4, if you are chosen that as your preferred pillar, you should send somebody relevant to that topic to attend the training on your behalf. As it has been said, we do not encourage one person attending all the training. It's a waste of resources. One person cannot attend all the training. It means everything about the organization is about you. And that for us it's never been effective, and it's never worked. It's never yielded any impact, and we would not tolerate that as well. I think those were the questions I was able to note. We are now on top of the hour, and I'm not seeing any new hands. I think these are all old hands. I'm unable to read the French. My French is not so good. So John,
Hello, Ramo.
who is there? Yes, Mohammed.
Mulana.
Yes, Mohammed.
Yes, my hand is a new hand. And the quick question is on the link that is in the chat right now, profiles of incoming cohort trade. This was sent to our email, and some of us have already responded to that.
Okay.
I'm sure we don't have to do it again.
You don't have to do it
Is that
again.
right?
No, you don't have to do it again if you've responded to it. So if you are yet to respond to that email, please just click the link here, and then you can respond to it. Thank you so much. So in the absence, but you can have 2 for 3 pillars. I don't understand that question, Abdul Rafiu. You have 1 representative per pillars. I mean, additional details will be shared in your email. So we don't hold people back because it's already 12. So at this point, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you for joining the call, and congratulations once again. Can we show our faces so that we quickly have our group pictures? And then I would invite Vanessa and John and Prince, who are on the project, to also show their faces so you know those who have been sending you emails, and then we can just round up the call. So Combs, how do we go about the photo? Can we switch on our cameras? No, I don't know why I'm the only one showing. What have I done?
I think everybody would just turn on your camera if allowed everyone to show your beautiful faces.
Okay.
So we're going to take it twice because the number is quite huge. So we need to slide it a little bit so we can get everybody captured. Okay.
I think you need to change your view to general.
So give me a minute. Let me just, okay. Okay.
I hope my teeth is showing.
Yes, yes, it should be
Where
so.
your teeth show.
Okay. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3. Then it has always been our hashtag has always been open civic space. We know that civic spaces are actually shrinking, and so it's really an action, and it's also a very important statement for all of us. So I count 1, 2, 3. Then you say open civic space, so we can see your smile. And please make sure you remember the hashtag as always. You see it on our platforms. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3 right now. I can see everybody's face, except a few of us. But 1, 2, 3.
Open civic
civic
space.
space.
Open civic space.
Okay. I'm doing the second one because I could see some people didn't smile too. Okay. So 1, 2, 3.
Open civic
Open
space.
civic space.
Okay. Thank you very much. Really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you so much, Gideon. Thank you so much. So, Vanessa, can we
So,
see?
Amolora, the link you rather the form you say you will share for us to send our staff name for the training. Will it be sent to us through by mail?
Vanessa, have we sent it by email?
Hello, good morning, everyone, and congratulations once again. The form has already been sent.
We can hear you.
Hello.
Hello, Vanessa. Your
Can you
is
hear
breaking.
me?
We can hear you.
Omolara, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I think your headphone doesn't work well. Can you remove the headphone and speak directly to the computer?
Everyone, can you hear me now?
Yes.
You mentioned the form and the you
Yes,
mentioned
so
that form and the program lineup for the whole
exactly.
year.
So
If
the
that
form
all
has
can be
been
shared with us.
Yes, the form has already been shared with you via email. However, we have still shared it in this group chat, and I will be sharing it right after speaking. So please do also fill it. But kindly note that the form is supposed to be completed only by the executive director. So the executive director or senior management is supposed to select their team members who are appropriate for each training. And also that the form also has a column to upload your logo if you have not already sent it to our email. And I hope this is clear. Please reach out if you are finding any difficulty with the form. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Vanessa. Your line is not quite clear, but it's okay. All right. So if we have any other comments or questions, maybe after this call, you just remember something. Oh, you forgot to ask during the call. Do not worry. Just send us an email at CSR-Hub-West-Africa@waxy.org. Ask your question and my team will respond to you adequately. So on this note, I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you, especially our faculties, Busara Africa, Pen Plus Bytes, Paradigm Initiative, Triple NGO Nigeria. Who did I miss? I think that's all.
Ghana.
Okay, very soon you'll be a faculty as well. Thank you so much. Thanks to our interpreters. Thank you to the comms team, and thanks to the Cohort 3. Vanessa will be reaching out with all the WhatsApp, setup and all of that, and the timetables and everything. So I look forward to meeting you in person in some of the trainings when I have time to join. But believe me, you will be seeing all my colleagues' faces. You see John somewhere, you see Vanessa somewhere, you see Prince somewhere. But I'm sure I'll find time to make sure I meet every one of you within the next 12 months. So welcome to the family. Welcome to CSR-Hub. And we would be reaching out to you even on other things that we are doing that are not specifically tied to CSR-Hub, but related to civic space governance across West Africa. You are now part of WAXI, and everything we do in WAXI, we would need to inform you about it, keep you updated. So as we begin our 20th celebration anniversary as well, you'll be hearing more information. We hope you join us in this celebration as we advance the impact of strengthening civil society, organizations, and ecosystem across West Africa. Once again, my name is Omolara, and it's been a pleasure engaging with you in the past 2 hours. Thank you so much and have a very nice day. Thank you.
Thank you too. The same too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Merci. Bye-bye. Au revoir. Merci. Thank you.